You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Yeah, we have Congressman Michael Waltz, former Green Beret congressman. So great to have you back here on Katz and Cosby. We wanted to get an update, because yesterday, the current director, remember there was the one before, but now there's the new one, Ronald Rowe, was on Capitol Hill and behind closed doors briefed, a number of folks. And I saw Republicans and Democrats coming out going, boy, we have a lot of questions. What questions do you still have tied to the Trump assassination? I mean, that's the assassination attempt that happened there at the Butler rally.
Well, thanks, Rita. Always good to be on with you. And just kind of to set the table, I and other Democrats, I and other members of Congress, including Democrats, I am a proud Republican, are members of the congressional task force to really conduct our own investigation, but to oversee what's going on with the FBI, the Secret Service. We sat down in a closed-door hearing with the director of the Secret Service to update us on what they're finding in their internal review. The FBI is a different matter, and they're actually conducting an investigation of Crooks, his motivations, whether he was working with others, and getting into that, which I'm happy to also talk about. On the Secret Service internal review, a number of glaring, frankly, Keystone Cop, almost hard to believe with an agency with such a storied history with the Secret Service. Number one, he said it was absolutely unacceptable, and he still doesn't have a great explanation for why the advance kept the AGR building out of the security perimeter, out of the core Secret Service security perimeter, and delegated that to local law enforcement. That said, the meeting of local law enforcement and the Secret Service was wholly insufficient. Not all of the local law enforcement entities were there, and they gave almost no direction to local law enforcement, they being the Secret Service. Secret Service essentially told local law enforcement from Butler County, PA, just secure the building, and did not give sufficient direct guidance. So many police officers, so many capability on top of the building, not inside the building, facing certain direction. They just left it up to them to figure it out. So huge deficiency, one, and we saw how terribly wrong and badly that went. Two, they weren't using their common radio systems. So as Crooks was repeatedly spotted conducting suspicious activity, rather than an all hands on deck, all hands are informed of the type, the description, the location. Essentially, the local police were communicating via text messages and cell phones with one of the agents, but the agent in the command post was not in the same location as Trump and his core detail, so that they could literally turn around and say, stop the president from going out. So those were just a couple of the errors that he assures us accountability is coming. They've already had the suspension of a number of agents directly involved, particularly the advance that do the security plan. And I made it, and other members made it loud and clear. Well, you know what? Accountability is not retiring with full benefits. Accountability is actual, punitive action. The service wants to wait until their internal investigation is complete to take those actions, but we are watching closely. I'll stop there and let you guys ask questions.
Congressman Waltz,
sure.
In your opinion, is it pure stupidity or have you smelled anything that could have been a conspiracy?
Well, in terms of the series of errors, I think from what I've seen so far, it was not malicious, but it was absolutely a culture of complacency. And what we still have yet to learn were the individuals involved making these horrendously bad judgments? Was that more of a culture driven by DEI, a lack of meritocracy? Like what was behind either the lack of training, the promotion of people to be in charge that shouldn't have been in charge? Again, a culture of just kind of laxness and complacency, or was there something else there? So that's one. Two, where I do still want to learn a lot, and I'm reserving judgment, is, when you go from current president, John, to former president, they shrink your details substantially. And the problem is whether you're Jimmy Carter that's, sitting in an old folks home, or Donald Trump running around the world engaging the public with foreign Iranian threats and active plots, you're essentially given the same size detail. And I know for certain, and this we still have more to learn, the Trump core detail was repeatedly asking for more resources, given his multiple residences, given the level of activity and threats that he's facing, and those were denied. I'm told by agents that the reason they were given was for budgetary reasons. But I'm also told by agents internally that there was kind of an atmosphere in DHS and Secret Service headquarters. We're not going to blow through our budget and manpower because President Trump wants to be so active. That's the wrong answer. I have yet to get that as part of the internal investigation, but that's what I'm still being told by agents. And that is truly damning and unacceptable if that's the case.
And we just have a few seconds left, but I want to ask you, Congressman, last time that we spoke with you here on the show, you said that you still hadn't gotten information on some of these encrypted apps that he was on, right, the shooter, and that left the door open to, was there some other, involvement or foreign or anything? Have you gotten into those apps and what's been discovered, and does it still leave some unanswered questions?
Absolutely, it does leave unanswered questions. So again, the Secret Service is looking at their internal failures. The FBI is looking at crooks, who he was talking to, and they're the ones trying to get into the apps. My frustration is they've told us in briefings they're making progress in breaking the encryption, getting into the apps, but they're not sharing with us what they're finding because they're giving it's still under an active investigation, kind of excuse. And I've told them this isn't something you can take 6 months to look at. These are ongoing threats right now as we speak. And so that issue of, was he working with someone else? How was he radicalized? How did he learn to build IEDs? And by the way, the latest Iranian plot was stopped the day before Butler. The arrest was made the day before. I still have a lot of questions there on the FBI side of things.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Thank you, Congressman, very much. Please, America needs to know the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they need to hear it as we're learning it, not a year from now when they decide to give it to us. So we're on top of it.
And not 30 years from now after we open up the
Kennedy
the
files, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Congressman.